My husband told our friends I was background noise, then looked me in the eye and said he wished I was more like his quiet, sophisticated ex. One day he told me on the table dinner that I was childish and that he needed me to stay away because my voice was draining his energy. I didn't argue, I didn't cry, I just became a ghost in his house. For the first 2 days, he didn't even notice. He actually looked relieved as he scrolled through his phone in the silence I provided. But by day 3, the peace he wanted started to feel like a desert. So he has been mocking me for talking too much, for being too clingy in dinners in front of relatives. I always ignored it thinking it's a joke, but when he said that in my face, it just shattered me. I felt like I couldn't be myself in my own house. So I stopped being his quite maid like his ex and did something that he will remember every day. So he is a kind of a person who always need reminders for everything. He needs someone to depend upon for all his works. So I stopped doing his share of chores, I stopped packing his lunches, stopped washing his lucky work shirts, and when dinner time came, I cooked for 1 and ate in my room before he even got through the door. Then he has to stay up late to cook for him. He couldn't figure out the reason of me being so quiet. Now, I didn't ask about his meetings, I didn't suggest grocery lists, and I stopped being the person who remembered his mother's birthday or his dry cleaning. So he has to do all his work by himself. He has to buy his lunch in his office, he has to go buy his grocery all by himself. By the end of the week when he got exhausted and realized how much I do for him, he was following me from room to room like a lost puppy, trying to initiate small talk just to hear a sound. And I just gave one word answer that he really wanted to, and he got disappointed each time. He told me I have changed and I don't appreciate him and don't love him anymore, but I stayed silent. The real twist. He didn't realize that while I was being silent, I was actually documenting every cruel thing he'd said to our friends and relatives, the recordings he didn't know I had. He didn't know that I was down paying for my own house from the savings from my job so that I can stay away from him, where I can be myself. On Friday, he came home early, trembling, having just lost a major client because he forgot a deadline I usually reminded him of. He burst into the bedroom, sobbing, and asked me why I didn't reminded him of his meeting. I said I'm not his personal assistant who just do his work quietly and stay away. Then he started begging me to just be normal because he realized he hadn't just lost a wife, he'd lost his entire support system. He apologized until his voice cracked, swearing he'd never compare me to anyone again. He realized it was because of his work tension that he got irritated from me and tried to ignore me so that I can stay away from him, but he didn't thought it would escalate this much. Then I finally looked at him, gave him the one-word answer he'd been begging for and said, "Goodbye," and felt the relief after a long time, and moved out the next week. He finally got the quiet house he asked for, but now the only thing he can hear is the echo of everything he threw away.